Hello students, welcome to my channel Biology Foundation. Today let us begin with Unit 4 of Grade 6 CBSE or ICSE Health and Hygiene. So this is part 1 of Unit 4 Health and Hygiene. Okay, so let's begin with the term health. But before we dive into the topic, maybe you might have observed in your school that there are certain friends of yours who fall sick frequently while some who are quite healthy, right? Or they fall ill very rarely. When I say ill, I mean the frequency with which they get diseases are very low in a healthy child, whereas in some friends of yours, they frequently remain absent to school, and the reason they would say is that they fell sick. Now, what could be the reason that some of the some human beings fall sick frequently, while some human beings are quite efficient to fight against the germs. So, in order to understand that, we need to understand what actually is health. Earlier, in olden days, people used to define health as absence of a disease in an organism or in a human being or in an animal or in a plant. When there is absence of disease, you call it as you call that individual as a healthy individual. Okay, if a person doesn't have any disease in him or her, then they are considered to be healthy individuals. But later, WHO, that is World Health Organization, okay, World Health Organization, in 1984, it improvised the definition and said that a person is considered to be a healthy individual only if their physical health, mental health, and emotional or social health is good, emotional well being is proper, then they are considered to be healthy. When I say physical health, that means if the person is physically fit, he or she is physically fit. Okay, mental health, that means the person must be mentally happy, not sad or depressed or anxious. If a person is mentally happy and peaceful, then they're considered to be healthy. And even emotional or social well-being, that means the person should be should feel free and be happy to communicate and to survive even in the society, then he or she is considered or said to be healthy. So this is the modified or the definition of health which is given by World Health Organization, where a person is said to be healthy only if they are physically, mentally, and emotionally well. Okay, earlier definition, we are talking only about the physical health of the individual. Then what about their mental and emotional health? Even mental health is quite important, right? uh, it's not that if you are physically fit, that means you are healthy. No, even mentally, that means you must be mentally happy, in a happy state. If you are sad, it's important that you talk either to your parents or tell to your friends as why you are feeling sad, or what actually is hurting your feelings, right? So it's quite important that we emphasize even on mental and social health. So this is the modified or definition given by World Health Organization, where it's taking into consideration our physical, mental, social, or emotional health. Okay, so here you can see two pictures where one kid is falling sick, is basically sick, while the other kid is quite healthy, right? So basically here I'm talking about physical health because here you can see that the uh, kid shown in this image, she is quite tired, lethargic, not very energetic, while this boy here you can see is quite energetic, right? So in order to have good health, it's very important that we need to maintain good health so that we can do our activities properly. Okay, now as students, you need to have good health. Otherwise what happens, you basically take leave from your school, remain absent for many days, can't pick up in your classes, yes or no, and Even you miss the interaction with your friends, miss the fun that you can have with your friends during your school hours. And even at home, you can't spend quality time with your parents or even with your friends in your apartment or in your house, nearby your house. So it's quite important to maintain good health. And health is it's important that you maintain good health to do your activities by yourself. If you fall sick, what will happen? You depend on your parents for most of your activities, right? So in order to have good health, what should be done? First thing is to have or to eat proper balanced diet. Let's discuss about what actually diet or balanced diet refers to later in the coming upcoming slides. But in order to have good health, you need to take balanced diet. Proper personal hygiene must be maintained. Balanced diet, or for now I can say you need to eat healthy food, not the junk food. And personal hygiene, and I say personal hygiene, what does it mean? To brush your teeth properly, to bathe twice daily, to keep your surroundings properly. When you play outside and come home, wash your legs and hands. And before eating, wash your hands properly. So, these are some personal hygiene practices. Exercise and rest. So, it's quite important that you do minimum exercise daily. You can't sit for long hours during the day. It's quite important that your body needs movement. So either you play for some time or walk, go for a walk with your grandparents, or maybe play with your friends, right? So, or do some exercises at home. In that way, your body gets some movement. And when you visit public places, okay, it's quite important that in order to prevent yourselves from diseases, you protect by wearing gloves or masks. Okay, if you remember during the season of like during the pandemic or COVID, uh, the government has declared that when we visit public places, we have to wear mask. Why? So that the virus uh, from the infected individual can't get transferred to the healthy individual. So to prevent from infectious diseases, it's quite important to wear mask, gloves, to remain social distancing. That means to maintain some distance when we are in public places. So for good health, it's important to eat balanced diet, to maintain personal hygiene practices, to exercise and rest. Exercising and taking proper rest is very essential for maintaining good mental and emotional health. Okay, for physical health, it's quite important that you eat good food, but for mental health, it's equally important to have proper rest and exercise. If you know, uh, if you have an exam tomorrow, your parents actually or your teachers advise you to eat properly the before day or even on the day of exam, and the previous day they tell you to get sufficient amount of sleep. Why? If there is no proper sleep, then what happens? Even if you have prepared well, if there is no proper amount of sleep the previous day, then you can't attempt the exam properly. You can't read the questions patiently. Even if you read the questions, you can't understand it properly because your brain is unable to function. It needs proper rest, right? Not only our physical body, even the internal organs inside our body, they require rest, right? So sleep and even exercising, when you exercise or when you go out to play or go for a walk or take your pet for a walk or do some physical activities like gardening, then what happens? Your mind gets refreshed, okay, and thus you can do your other activities properly and more efficiently. So what actually is health? It's not only physical well-being but even mental and emotional well-being. Emotional well-being means when you're talking with your friends, try not to hurt them, okay? Even then you can participate in various conversations, you can be friendly with everyone, try helping them. So in this way even your emotional well-being is good, okay? So, this definition of health, meaning or comprising of uh, both physical, mental, and even emotional, is given by World Health Organization. Okay. Now, for proper health, we all know that we need to eat food, right? So, what actually food contains in it? Food contains nutrients in it. Okay, what are nutrients? These are basically substances that are needed by the body for proper growth and development, so that we remain healthy. Okay, so nutrients are basically substances which are present in food. You can see in this picture various types of foods, right? You can say avocado, milk, eggs, dry fruits, cashews, and all. You can see leafy vegetables, meat, egg, potatoes, certain vegetables, sorry, certain fruits like banana. So there are different types of food items, and these each food item or each food item is basically rich in nutrients. What are nutrients? These are the substances that are needed by the body for proper growth and development so that the person remains healthy. And food, why is food needed to our body? Because it provides energy. We all know that we eat food, the food gets digested, right? And this digested food, when there is process of digestion, there will be simpler compounds formed, as a result of which utilizing oxygen, this food, utilizing the oxygen, food gets oxidized to give carbon dioxide and energy. Energy is liberated. Okay, why do we need energy? To perform various activities, like if you see there are students jumping, they're playing here, a kid is swimming, so food is needed to perform various activities, not only our normal activities in day to day life, but even the involuntary activities which are occurring inside our body. If you see inside our body, there are many activities taking place. The heart is pumping blood, the kidney is seeing that urine is generated. That means whatever waste materials are generated, it is saying that everything is purified and filtered, right? So in the same way, blood, what does it do? It helps in circulation of various materials throughout the body. So for to perform all these activities, our body needs energy. Not only that, we do externally also many activities, like as students, you go to school, attend various classes, then play with your friends, right? Do your homework. And when you listen to classes, your brain needs energy in order to understand that information that your teacher is telling, right? So, for all this, energy is needed. So, food provides us all that energy that is required for our body. So, food is needed by plants and even by animals. If you know, plants can prepare their own food, hence they are called autotrophs, right? Even plants need food for their growth and development. For the plant to grow into a complete tree, right? It needs energy. And even animals, for why animals need energy? Even they have to move from one place to another, or animals give rise to their young ones. During that process, they need energy, right? Or in order to protect themselves from the predators, like for example, if a tiger is chasing a deer, the deer has to run, right? In order to get that energy, it has to eat food. So it, to perform our activities and even to sustain our life activities or metabolic activities inside our body, food is essential. So food provides us with energy. Okay, second reason why we should have food: for proper growth and development. If you know, when you were very small, you were a toddler, a baby, right? Now you are around like 10 years old or 10 to 11 years old, right? So during this process, we know that your height has increased, even your body size might have increased. So for proper physical growth, food is needed. What happens usually during growth? If you remember, cell division takes place, cells start dividing and cells start elongating. Elongation of cells occur, that in turn increases cell size, right? As a result of which the person's height increases and even their weight increases, right? So for physical growth, food is needed. Not only for physical growth, mental growth. That means your brain also should develop properly. and you must have the ability to understand what people are trying to say, right? In some people, they are mentally retarded, right? But for in a healthy individual, when I say healthy individual, it's not only physical health but mentally also. The person should be, he or she should be healthy. Okay, so even for mental growth, for various organs to function properly and to develop properly, food is needed. So for growth and development, food is required for the body. Third is to overcome wear and tear. What does that mean? Try to understand. Now, for example, you went after coming from school, you went to playground to play with your friends, and your friends along with you kept a running competition, and since you were running very fast and you got there was a pebble or a rock while you were running, and suddenly you fell. Okay, and there is a wound on your knee. What happens? Initially there will be bleeding, and after that you apply, like you wash it with water, you apply some tincture of iodine, cover it with cotton, right? And after few days, what will happen? There will be a patch that will be generated, right? And maybe after 2 to 3 months later, you can see that your knee will be normal. There will be no wound, right? That means whatever cells that got damaged because of your wound, they get again produced back. That means new cells are formed. How new cells are formed? Again by cell division and cell elongation. Whatever cell division and cell elongation produces the new cells, where the cells are dividing and they are increasing in their size. Now, during this process, whatever cells that got damaged, they are repaired. So, who is doing it? Our body is doing it. And for that, energy is required. Okay. So, who is providing that energy? Food. So, you need to eat food in order for our body to repair the cells. You might say, ma'am, daily we won't fall. Daily we won't get wounds, right? But try to understand, we all have blood in us, right? And blood contains RBCs in it. That means red blood cells. These red blood cells, their lifespan is 120 days. If you remember what is lifespan, it is the time between birth and death. So red blood cells lifespan is only 120 days. Every 120 days, red blood cells will die. When these red blood cells will die after 120 days, new red blood cells should be formed. Again, who will do that? Body. For the body to regenerate or produce new red blood cells, it requires energy. And who will provide that energy? Food that we eat. So, food is essential not only to provide energy to the body for performing various internal and external activities, it is needed for proper growth and development, it is needed to repair cells in our body. Okay. Next is protection from diseases. Here you can see two kids who are quite sick. Okay, and here you can see a child who is fighting the germs. So the food that we eat also provides us immunity. Immunity means where our body can fight effectively against the germs or against the organisms which are causing disease. So if you eat healthy food, okay, what is healthy food? We will talk about it later. Food which is rich in more nutrients. Okay, that is healthy food. We'll talk about what are the types of nutrients and all. But if you eat healthy food, then you have high immunity or good immunity power. Immunity power means ability to effectively fight against the germs or diseases that are causing the infection. So if you eat healthy food, then there are less chances that you will fall sick. If you eat more junk food like burgers, pizza, or tacos, whatever it is, then there are high chances that you fall sick frequently because you're not eating healthy food. Your food is not rich in nutrients, so your body is not effective in fighting against the disease causing organisms. So we have listed the reasons why we need to eat food. First, food contains nutrients in it, that is substances needed for proper growth and development of the body. It is needed to food is needed for providing us energy to perform various activities. It is needed for proper growth and development, to overcome wear and tear, that means to repair the cells or to repair the damaged cells in our body. Fourth, to protect from various diseases. Now, basically, food can be classified into three types: energy giving food, body building food, and protective food. There are certain food items which provide us energy. For example, sugar, butter, rice, potato, bread. Okay, these are energy giving foods. They provide us with good amount of energy. Next, we have body building food which help in building our muscles. Okay, basically, they build the muscles. Example include eggs, milk, cheese, pulses, fish, meat. They are all body building food. Protective food items. These protective foods protect our body against infection or against germs. Okay, fruits and vegetables, they act as protective foods. Okay, so certain food items provide us with energy, some food items help us in building our muscle, and some food items protect us from various diseases. So it's quite important that we include all these three types of food, that is energy giving food, body building food, and protective food throughout our day. When we are eating at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's quite important that we include food which provide us energy, which help us to build our muscle, and which protect us from various mi- microorganisms or pathogens, that is, disease causing organisms. Okay, now I told food is rich in nutrients. What are those nutrients? These are substances which are required for our body for proper growth and development and to keep us in good health. There are various types of nutrients. You have carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. These are the five major nutrients which are present in food. If you see energy giving food, they are rich in carbohydrates and fats. Body building food, rich in proteins. The nutrients in which they are rich in proteins. Protective food, these food items are rich in vitamins and minerals. Okay. So that's the reason when we are taking our food in the as breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's quite important that we include all the nutrients, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals by including one item from each of these groups. Okay. So now let's understand first about carbohydrates. Basically, carbohydrates are the food items which contain carbon and hydrogen in them, mostly carbon and hydrogen. Now, these carbohydrates, the food which we eat, like for example, rice, chapati that we eat, they're rich in carbohydrates. They combine with oxygen to give out carbon dioxide and energy. Okay, these are energy giving foods. They provide more amount of energy. Okay, and what are examples of certain carbohydrates? Glucose, starch, lactose. What is lactose? Lactose is also known as milk sugar. If you see, if you know, like milk without adding sugar, also it is sweet in taste. Okay, slightly sweet, not very sweet, but usually normal milk it is slightly sweet in taste, and that sweet taste is because of a natural sugar present in it, known as lactose. Okay, it's called hence it is called milk sugar. Okay, and if our food that we eat it does not contain carbohydrates in it, then it leads to lethargy and restlessness. That means if you are eating food, like if you are eating more of junk food, okay, not eating food which is rich in good carbohydrates, then what happens? Your body is lacking carbohydrates in it, as a result of which you feel tired even after doing a small activity, or you feel very restless. That means you don't want to do any activity, you feel tired very often. So it's quite important that you eat foods rich in carbohydrates. Examples of carbohydrate rich food include wheat, rice, okay, potato, fruits, jaggery, bread. All this come under carbohydrate rich food items. Okay, so the first nutrient is carbohydrates. Next is proteins. I said proteins come under body building food. They help in building our muscles. Now, these proteins are basically they contain which elements in them? Carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And sometimes some proteins they also contain sulfur and iron in them. But mostly, most of the proteins they contain carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen in them. C for carbon, okay. H for hydrogen, N for nitrogen, S for sulfur, Fe for iron. Okay. Now these proteins are of two types: plant proteins and animal proteins. That is, proteins which are obtained from plants. They are called plant proteins. Like if you see here, these are all plant-based protein food items: chickpeas, cashew, tofu, almonds, sunflower seeds, kidney beans, pumpkin seeds, black beans, oats, lentils, walnuts, whole grains. All these are proteins obtained from plants. Like some people, they don't eat non-veg, right? They rely only on vegetarian. That means diet from plants and plants, and don't eat flesh of animals, right? In such cases, such people can eat plant-based proteins. Like you can eat chickpeas, cashews, tofu, almonds, okay, kidney beans, right? What are animal proteins? These are the proteins derived from animals, like chicken, beef, pork, salmon, tuna, yogurt, cheese, milk. Okay, people who eat only veg, they can rely on animal proteins by drinking milk, eating cheese, yogurt, right? So, why is protein rich food important? Because it helps in building the muscle in our body. For proper bodybuilding, we need proteins. Okay, and proteins are also required because for bodybuilding and even to repair the damaged cells in our body. Okay, so this is the second major nutrient, and the third one is fats. Now, when I say fats, you have healthy fats as well. Okay, and our body needs fats. Usually, we associate or we think when a substance is rich in fats, then we think that okay, it is not good for our health. But try to understand fats are needed by our body in appropriate amounts. If you eat excess or if you eat foods which are more rich in fats, then it can cause disease. But usually our the food that we eat should also contain minimal or certain some amount of fats in it. Okay, and fats provide more energy even compared to carbohydrates, 10 times more, okay, than carbohydrates. So immediately if you eat any chocolate or sugar item, okay, or if you eat food rich in butter or cheese, immediately you feel that your stomach is full. That's because these fats they provide more amount of energy to the body. Okay, examples include oils, butter, ghee. Here you can see, right? Dry fruits they provide healthy fats. Okay, when compared to cheese, butter, and all, dry fruits are best to get healthy fats. And even avocado, it's good because it's fat coming from fruits, right? Considered to be healthy fats. Okay, now what is obesity? Obesity is a condition where your body is gaining more weight because of excess fats getting deposited in the body. Okay, what is obesity? Excess weight. Here you can see a kid who's just watching the television and sitting in the cushion eating junk food, right? And you can see that he's obese. And is it good for health? No. Obesity can lead to various disorders like pressure, sugar, hypertension. All these conditions can arise because of obesity. That is, when you eat more food which is rich only in fats, then what happens? All these fats get deposited in your body under the skin and in certain tissues known as adipose tissue. So basically, what is tissue? Group of cells. Okay. Now those cells which store fats, okay, they are said those tissues are said to be that tissue is called adipose tissue. Okay. So basically, in the adipose tissue, these fats get deposited, and even fats get deposited below the skin and even other regions in our body. So excess fats are not good. Why? Because excess fats can lead to obesity, that means excess weight, which can lead to various diseases in people. So therefore, it is quite important that you eat food which has appropriate amounts of all the nutrients. You should eat food that contains some amount of carbohydrates in it, some amount of proteins, some amount of fats. Okay, the next nutrient, essential or constituent or component of food is vitamins. Now, vitamins are needed by our body in very small quantities. Okay, you don't need them in very large quantities, but very minute, small quantities. And these vitamins, they are of various types. You have vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin B, vitamin C. Now, out of these vitamins, A, D, E, K, they are fat soluble vitamins. That means they dissolve in fats. Vitamin B and C are water soluble vitamins. Okay. Now, which food items are rich in vitamins? Fruits and vegetables. Okay. The one which usually students are picky to eat. They are actually healthy and they are good in vitamins. Okay. Any fruit, every fruit or any type of vegetable is rich in vitamins. Okay. And I told you vitamins can be water soluble or they can be fat soluble, and vitamins are needed by our body in small quantities. And if there is any deficiency of any vitamin, it can result in disease. Okay, for example, vitamin A. Okay, vitamin A is needed for proper eye health so that you can see properly. Okay, if you are not eating food, like carrots are rich in vitamin A. Now, if you don't eat food which is rich in vitamin A, then what happens? There are chances that people suffer from night blindness. That means they can't see during the night. That is night blindness. Okay, that's because of vitamin A deficiency. So it's quite important that you eat food rich in vitamins, and uh, it's not that you eat only one fruit daily. No, I mean you shouldn't eat only one fruit always. You have to try all fruits, all vegetables, because they contain different types of vitamins which is needed by our body. Okay. Now, milk is a food item which contains all vitamins. Okay, except one vitamin, it doesn't have vitamin C in it. It has remaining all vitamins. Okay, then which food items are rich in vitamin C? Citrus fruits like your orange, lemon, okay, tangerines, all this basically are rich in citrus family. They are rich in vitamin C, and milk contains all other vitamins A, E, K, D, B, and all. Okay, and here also you can see certain food items. Now, for example, vitamin D, you can eat green leafy vegetables or you can get exposed yourself to sunlight. You get vitamin D. Vitamin C, citrus fruits. Vitamin B12, eggs. And even like fermented food items like curd and all you can eat for vitamin B12. Okay. Vitamin A, can you see carrots and all papaya? They are all rich in vitamin A. So it's very important that daily you have to include a fruit in your diet. Okay, that means either it can be in the morning, lunch, or even during the dinner. You have to include a fruit or even in the snack time so that you get essential vitamins needed for our body. Okay, and why are vitamins needed? For proper growth and development. Okay, if you won't eat food rich in vitamins, then you will get vitamin deficiencies, and that can result in various diseases. Okay, and the next nutrient needed by our body is minerals. Minerals are also needed by our body in very, very less quantity, just like vitamins, and they don't have energy value. That means minerals don't provide any energy to the body. Then, who is providing energy to the body? The energy that is required for the body is provided through carbohydrates and fats. And whatever uh, building of muscle is needed, that is provided by proteins. Okay, for whatever is needed for proper growth and development, vitamins and minerals do. Okay, now for example, for proper bone health and for proper teeth strength, like your bones should be strong, your teeth should be strong. Otherwise, what happens? If you chew only, your teeth shouldn't fall, or just after doing some activity you shouldn't feel that my legs are paining or my hands are paining. There should be proper strength of the bones and even teeth. For this you need calcium. Okay, it provides calcium and phosphorus. They provide bone and teeth strength. Now, blood formation. I told you after every 120 days, RBCs will die. Again, new red blood cells should be formed. So, for proper red blood cells formation, you require iron and nervous system functioning. Means your brain health also should be proper. Brain should function properly. For that, you require sodium and potassium, salts. Okay. Physical and mental development, you require iodine. So in this way, minerals play in overall growth and development, and minerals are needed in very less quantities. They don't provide any energy value, but still they are essential for proper growth. You can see calcium-rich food, iron-rich food, zinc, potassium, iodine, magnesium-rich food items. So basically, I can say minerals are you get minerals by eating raw fruits and vegetables. Okay. So it's quite important that you eat fruits and vegetables for proper minerals. Okay. So what are the five nutrients that our body needs? So the major components of food is carbohydrates, which is energy giving food, proteins, body building food, fats, again energy giving food, vitamins, protective food, minerals are also protective food. That means they protect our body against pathogens, and vitamins and minerals play a key role in giving us immunity so that our body can fight efficiently against the germs. Apart from these five major components, food you must it's very important that the food that we eat must be rich even in water. Why? Because water constitutes 70% of our body weight. For example, if there is an individual, if there is a person whose weight is 70 kgs, okay, 70% of 70 kgs means what? Are you understanding? 70% of 70 kgs. 49 kgs is water only. Are you understanding? The remaining is the actual bone strength of the person. Now, why is water very essential? Because it acts as a medium for various metabolic activities. Metabolic activities are nothing but chemical reactions which take place inside my body. I hope you know that inside my body respiration is going on. That means there are various chemical reactions taking place. For all these chemical reactions, there should be a medium. So water acts as a medium for chemical reactions. And water is also needed for proper digestion. That if you see your parents say that drink water properly, you have to finish two bottles of water, something like that, or after you eat it, or before you eat, your mother tells to drink a glass of water. Now this water helps in proper digestion of the food that you eat, and also sees that there is free movement of various substances throughout the body. And water plays a quite or key important role in maintaining the body temperature, so that the body maintains a temperature of optimum temperature of 37 degrees centigrade. Proper intake of water is necessary. Let's understand the term dehydration. It is the process where the amount of water that you are drinking is not meeting the amount of water that is lost from our body. There are certain cases where during vomiting or motions, what actually happens, the amount of water that is present in our body is lost. That's the reason doctors advise us to drink more water during uh, conditions of fever, vomitings, or motion. Why? Because water is getting lost from our body. So that's the reason doctors advise us to drink coconut water, electrol water, or fruit juices, so that the water which is lost from the body is again replenished back. If water is not replaced, if the body is left dehydrated, what happens? The person feels restless, they become very weak, and uh, in serious conditions, there are chances that the person can die. So it's very important that when a person falls sick, it's quite important they take adequate amounts of water. And what is the ideal amount of water that a person should drink? 4 to 5 liters per day. Every day you have to drink 4 to 5 liters. And water is very important not only for proper physical health, even for mental health, so that your brain can function properly. Maybe you might have heard your parents or teachers saying that when you are writing an examination, you take water bottle to the examination hall, and if you feel very tired while opting the answers, I mean, while solving the questions, you take a break by drinking water. So what happens is water also helps in rejuvenating and refreshing your brain, so that you can again answer the questions in a calm and cool manner, right? So 70% of the body's weight is water, and water acts as a medium where all the chemical reactions that has to take place in our body, water acts as the medium. And water is essential for proper digestion of the food, for proper movement of substances throughout the body, and even to maintain body temperature. Our normal body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. To maintain that body temperature, if you remember, I told you we are warm blooded animals, right? That means even if the external temperature is 100 degrees, or even if the external temperature is 14 degrees, my internal temperature of the body will always remain 37 degrees centigrade. And who is saying that the internal temperature is maintained? Water actually cools our body, sees that our internal temperature is always 37 degrees centigrade. So to maintain that body temperature, it's quite important to drink proper amount of water. And what is dehydration? The water which is lost in our body, if we are not, if that water is not being replaced by us in the form of drinking water, like externally, then it results in dehydration. Okay, now during certain cases, like when you have certain diseases, or during fever also, sometimes people show symptoms of vomitings and motions. Now during vomiting and motion, there is excess fluid loss, excess water loss. Now whatever water is lost during this vomiting or motions, they have to be replenished back, they have to be again filled back. How? By drinking water. Not only water, you can drink coconut water, you can drink electrol water. Why? Because during vomitings and motions, it's not just only water that is getting lost, even vitamins and minerals are getting lost. So to replenish back, doctors advise you to drink more fruit juices, coconut water or electrol water, so that not only the water but even the vitamins and minerals can be filled back into your body. Okay, and ideal amount of water is 4 to 5 liters per day. And the last slide of today's class is your food that you eat should include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, and along with that, it should be rich in fiber, or also known as roughage. Don't get confused if they use the term roughage. Roughage is nothing but fiber. The food that we eat should be rich in fiber. And from where do we get this fiber? From plants. Okay, that means vegetables and fruits. They are rich in fiber. Okay, and why is fiber needed to our body? Fiber is needed because it adds bulk to the food, it helps in proper digestion, free movement, and it prevents constipation. Now, if you remember, I told you what is excretion, removal of waste from our body. Now, this excretion process must be easier. To make this excretion process easier, so that our bowel can be cleared from our body, your food must be rich in fiber or roughage. If excretion is not done properly, then it results in constipation, again, which can lead to other diseases. Therefore, that's the reason it's very important to drink more amount of water and to eat fiber rich food, so that the waste products which are generated in our body are excreted out. Okay. So, along with the five major nutrients, that is carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals, it's very important that we eat our food with by drinking good amount of water and seeing that the food is rich in fiber. Okay, salads, vegetables, nuts, all these are rich in fiber. Okay, now what is the difference between food and diet? Okay, when I say food, it is any substance that you eat and drink which contains nutrients in it. It can be any substance, like banana. It is a substance that you can eat and it is rich in nutrient. Or you can say burger. It is also a food item. Why? Because it is rich in fats in it, right? But when I say diet, what actually is diet? When can I use the term diet? It is combination of food items. That means, for example, if there is a plate, in this plate I have apple, slice of apple, I have a sweet, okay, and few nuts are placed. I have chapati, curry, okay, yogurt. Yogurt is nothing but curd, okay. Now this plate has everything in it. It has apple, it provides fiber, right? It provides with vitamins and minerals. Sweet provides me with fats. Nuts provide again with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Chapati, rich in carbohydrates. Curry also carbohydrates. Yogurt and or curd, rich in protein. So my plate here has all the food, all the nutrients in it, right? Then it is said to be a diet. Is it clear? When I say food, it is any substance that you eat or drink which has nutrients in it. But diet means combination of all the food items which must be included in our meal so that we can generate or we can have good health. So that's the reason, if you remember my first slide, I told you for good health, you need to have balanced diet. That means your plate should contain, the food plate that you eat should contain all groups of food. That means it should contain carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. It should have all groups of food items in it. Then it is said to be a balanced diet where it contains all the major groups of nutrients in it. And also the food must provide us with energy. That means it should be rich with carbohydrates and fats. It must it must provide muscles, that is bodybuilding food. It must be rich in proteins. And even our body should effectively fight against pathogens, against germs, so that we have good immunity. And we get immunity when our food is rich in vitamins and minerals, right? So in today's class we discussed what actually is health. When I say health, when we say that a person is healthy, that means we are not only talking about his or her physical health. It is quite important that they must be mentally and emotionally well. Okay. And this definition of health is given by World Health Organization in 1984. And for good health, it is very important that we exercise, we practice personal hygiene, we eat balanced diet, maintain social distancing in public places. First is understanding about food. Why should we eat food? In order to get energy, for proper growth and development, for proper repair of the cells in our body, and for proper immunity. And what food should we eat? Food which is rich in nutrients. Where what are the different types of nutrients? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. Not only this, our food must be rich in water in it, along with roughage and fiber. Okay. So when I say food, it is any item, any substance that you eat or drink containing a nutrient. But when I say diet, it should include all the food items. It should include all nutrients in it in a balanced proportion. Not too many carbohydrates or not very less amount of fat. Everything in proportionate manner. That is said to be a balanced diet. In next video, let's discuss more about balanced diet. But today we have just I have just introduced you to the topic of health and hygiene, and we have seen what are the factors that determine a good health, and we discussed in detail about the constituents of food or the nutrients which are present in food. Okay, so if you have any doubts related to this video, please feel free to comment it down below. And if you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Biology Foundation. So, this is part 1 of Unit 4, Health and Hygiene. If you haven't watched Unit 1, 2, 3, you can go to my playlist and view them. So enjoy the process of learning. Have a good day.